In a striking shift that's reshaping Middle East politics, we're witnessing what appears to be an unprecedented cooling in relations between US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Just months into his second administration, Trump has notably excluded Israel from his latest international tour of the Gulf states, a decision that breaks decades of diplomatic tradition. Even more surprising, the president who once scrapped the Iran nuclear deal is now pursuing direct negotiations with Tehran, reportedly blindsiding his Israeli counterparts. For an analysis on this diplomatic pivot, we turn to Associate Professor Saeed Khan from Wayne State University.
It definitely is a bit premature to then posit whether this is going to be a long-term strategy for the United States as a whole, and even for that matter for President Trump himself. But at this very moment, we do see a substantial shift. One of these seems to be perhaps based on a very personal level between Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump. While there are the usual platitudes and while there are the usual posturings between the American president and the Israeli prime minister, which is more of a matter, it seems, of custom and tradition than anything else, now we see a bit of a cooling off. And perhaps a lot of this may be motivated and directed more because of President Trump's ego, feeling as though Netanyahu has been playing him, taking advantage of him, something that someone of Trump's personality will not abide. Whatever the reasons might be, it seems as though there is a bit more frost on the relationship. We find that reporting in the United States indicated that the former National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, was removed from that position ostensibly because he was too closely aligned with Netanyahu, particularly in calling for military strikes on Iran. Now, it seems as though Trump does not want that. He, in fact, has said even on this current trip in several different overtures that he is seeking some kind of a negotiated settlement with Iran, using diplomacy as the proverbial carrot and moving away from the stick, so to speak, that had been employed for so long. Now, of course, the irony is not lost that it is Trump himself who took the United States out of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran nuclear deal, when he came to office in his first term, perhaps more out of a sense of personal animus to its architect, former President Obama, than anything else. But now we find that Trump is in fact using a similar playbook of appealing to the regime in Iran to reach a negotiated settlement, trying to offer them sanctions in lieu of the pledge not to develop a military nuclear program. And it seems as though that kind of direct negotiation, as well as the direct negotiation that Trump has been engaged with regarding Hamas, blindsided Israel and particularly Netanyahu, who expects, as have most Israeli prime ministers, to be advised and to be apprised of what Washington is planning on doing. And in fact, in many cases, having the right reserved for objection or even refusal of such policies. It also indicates that the Trump administration seems to be more airtight, that there are not the leaks that would tip off Israel about these policies. Waltz was seen as being the problematic individual, and therefore it seems as though he was removed for that reason. But it is unprecedented that a US president making a trip to the region is completely keeping Israel off the list of destinations, whether stopping there first or stopping there in this case at all. Is quite surprising and seems to indicate, as I said before, definitely a chilling effect between United States and Israel.